What is going on? Back in studio, guys. So happy to be here on this Monday, December 23rd, 2024. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning into Loud Majority Live here, rumble.com/LFATV. Back from Turning Point USA in Phoenix, Arizona. We're going to go over everything that happened at Turning Point. A lot of fun stuff went on there. I think everybody should go to Turning Point if you ask me. We'll talk about why. We'll talk about some of the highlights over from Turning Point because there were a lot of them. There were definitely a lot of highlights over the course of the last weekend. Some that you may not see coming. Some that I know I certainly didn't see coming. We'll go over all of that. Also, we've got some top stories of the day, not least among them. Hey, you remember that time an illegal immigrant from Guatemala decided to set a woman on fire on the New York City subway? Yep. I remember that too. One of the most horrific things I think I've ever seen in my entire life. We'll go over all of that. We've got the footage from it. It is incredibly graphic, but I feel like it's important that you all see that. Also, Joe Biden decides to commute dozens of sentences for cop killers and child murderers. No big deal. No big deal at all. I guess it could have been worse. He did leave 3 of them out. Absolutely unbelievable. Also, right around this holiday season, we've got some bad news for Joy Reid and for Democrats. And I've got footage out of the courthouse today in the Luigi Mangione case. His lawyer, who is this woman is clearly not getting paid enough money for this brazen level of just baloney. We're gonna go over all of that today. Before we get started, though, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. It is so great to be back. It was nice to be in Arizona, where the temperature right now is like 70 degrees. To come back to New York, not only to find out that a homeless woman was set on fire in the subway by an illegal immigrant, but also where it's 15 degrees. So that was nice. That was nice to see. Let's get this live chat up onto the screen. Oh, hold up. Boom. Where are we at? Let's, there we go. Everything's working. Boom. How's everybody doing today? What's happening? Jeanette, how are you? CB175, how are you? Palumbo, what's happening? Tommy Girl, hello, hello, hello. I want to make sure I, say hello. Obviously, I missed you guys the last couple of days. I want to thank Pete Santilli for filling in for me. As always, Pete's a hell of a guy. Hope you guys enjoyed him. Merry early Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas Eve. Is that something we're allowed to say? Merry Christmas Eve. But all good. Let's get rocking. Let's get rolling here today. So, Turning Point USA this weekend. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. For anyone who was there, you guys know how what kind of a time it is. For anybody who has never been to a Turning Point USA event, I highly recommend it. I often joke around that it's kind of like Republican summer camp. You know, when you go one year, you'll never not go again. You get to see many of your favorite influencers and TV hosts and celebrities and whatnot. It really is a good time. It really is a good time. Great networking events for everybody involved. So if there's a Turning Point USA in your area, first off, I would highly recommend you get involved with them, particularly if you have young people. If you've got kids who want to get involved in politics, Turning Point USA is absolutely the organization to do it with. They've got some big stuff coming up over the next several months and years as we move into 2025 and 2026. Charlie Kirk went over that last night on Tim Pool about how he plans on going after all of the people currently holding up Donald Trump's picks for his cabinet. Obviously, it is time that we start putting some of these people in their place. Donald Trump received an obvious mandate, and people like Mike Rounds and Joni Ernst and Lindsey Graham are obviously going to be in a lot of trouble with the grassroots coming along. But something happened Someone was at Turning Point USA this weekend, and it really shocked me. It really did shock me. You guys know on this show, I like to highlight not only those on the right, but those on the left who are fighting back against the establishment. I will still have my arguments with them about everything. However, I have long thought that it is important to highlight those people who I think are doing good stuff. Now, I got to meet Cenk Uygur over the weekend. I was actually having breakfast at the hotel, and I saw him across the street walking into Turning Point, and I was very, very shocked that he was there. He sat down for about a half-hour-long interview with Charlie Kirk. For those of you who don't know, Cenk Uygur is the host of The Young Turks. It's actually the longest-running YouTube show and the man who really created the news space for independent media. Look, I disagree with him on a lot of things. However, as I've shown you guys over the last couple of weeks, he's been going on right-wing shows and really talking about the populist uprising on both the right and the left. And he's right. I'll argue with him on minimum wage and abortion and guns and the size and scope of government, the role of government. However, there are plenty of places where we agree. And Cenk went there and talked to Charlie Kirk about the uprising that has been going on both the right and the left of the populist movement. Here that was.
And what I mean by that is not a revolution against the Democratic Party or the left or the country, but a revolution against the establishment. So I knew you guys were for real in fighting against the establishment when I started going on right-wing shows and I would say something negative about Mitch McConnell. And when I did that in the past, what I would get back is, oh, no, Mitch McConnell's great. Pelosi's terrible, but Mitch McConnell's great.
Let's do that here. What do you guys think of Mitch McConnell?
All right. Yes, I love that. So look, for my left-wing friends that are watching out there, they just booed Mitch McConnell. That's a great thing, okay? And let's do one more. What do you guys think about Dick Cheney? My left-wing friends out there, we have been waiting for the right-wing populists to boo Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney our whole lives. Take the win. Take the win. Now, what we need to do in the Democratic Party is we need to do likewise. We need to have a revolt against the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrises, and the Nancy Pelosi's. And the Hillary Clintons, and now all of a sudden the Dick Cheneys. What are they doing on our side? Are you guys nuts? Right?
I have to interject. When all of a sudden Kamala Harris is doing the Liz Cheney thing, I said, does she want to lose? I mean,
what's amazing is I said the same thing. Look, Dick Cheney polls at 13%. What lunatic thought it was a good idea to wrap yourself around Dick Cheney? I mean, when we started the Young Turks 22 years ago, longest running show in internet history, first ever YouTube partner with original YouTubers, one of the driving forces was get Dick Cheney out of office, right? And now for Kamala Harris to come full circle and say, oh, I've got 90 corporate CEOs backing me, and I've got all these executives on my side, and I've got Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney on my side, it was so counterproductive. It's not what the left wing stands for. It's not what the Democratic Party should be about. So the problem is the establishment. They are controlled by the donor class, and mainstream media is their marketing arm. They do not do news. They do propaganda. And one more thing. What I want you guys to recognize is that mainstream media, you think is against you. You think they're against the right wing. But they also hate Bernie Sanders. And they also hate me. And they also hate the populists on the left. What mainstream media really loves is the establishment and the elites. They're against all of us combined. And if we dare unite on issues we agree on, they will be livid, and it'll be a beautiful day in America.
And you know what? Honestly, like I said, I have no problem whatsoever disagreeing with Cenk and disagreeing with the progressive left on a myriad of issues. However, there are places where we agree. Let's get the lobbyists out of Congress. Let's stop members of Congress from trading individual stocks. Let's bring on term limits for members of Congress so that people like Chris Smith in New Jersey can't be in Congress for 42 years. So that people like Joe Biden can't just screw around since Vietnam and then eventually become president of the United States. Let's get some transparency in all of this. There are many, many places we could agree. Now, that's not to say that I'm going to compromise my values in any way, shape, or form, but there has been a long time where the right and the left could have come together on many things, but didn't because of this faux partisan divide. Whether it was the Wall Street bailouts in 2008, where people like you and I lost their homes, while the CEOs at Goldman Sachs got bailed out, while guys like Ben Bernanke walked away scot-free after they robbed the American people, where people like Hank Paulson gambled with your money, lost, and then asked you to come bail them out. That was in 2009, 2010, Occupy Wall Street. Now, on the crazy stuff, on the men and women's bathrooms, on the men and women's sports, on late-term abortion, on repealing the Second Amendment, gone. We're not there. I'm not going to get it. Oh, you guys, they are wrong on that. And Cenk will still have that argument. The populist left will still have that argument. And I'm down for that fight. With that being said, we could make real change here. You saw it the other day with Senator Josh Hawley. We talked about it. How he went after these credit card companies that are making like 500% profit every year, while Americans' debt is over $1 trillion in credit card debt alone. Americans owe more to the credit card companies than most countries owe in their debt to GDP ratio. That's got to change. There are places we can agree. Yes, Americans' healthcare system is broken. I don't think Medicare for all is the answer. But at least if we can acknowledge a problem, we can start working towards fixing it. And he's right with what he said there at the end of the show. That if the populist right and the populist left can come together on certain issues where we agree, the media, the donor class, the lobbyists, and the consultants will start to shit. And I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Guys, before we keep rocking and rolling here.
The biggest benefit, honestly, has been with my skin. Skin was more hydrated, more radiant.
This is the best superfood that you could take.
It has all the essential nutrients you need for your skin, your gut, energy, focus, mood, performance.
My hair has gotten so much thicker ever since taking this.
I used to have a probiotic, a green juice. I replaced it all with this Armra colostrum. It is amazing.
You gotta take it.
If you want to try it, try armra.com.
Guys, start feeling better today with the superfood formula over at tryarmra.com/LFATV. That's tryarmra.com/LFATV. You guys know you are not getting the nutrients you need every single day. So check that out, guys, over there at tryarmra.com/LFATV. Start feeling better today. So another spot that we've tried to highlight on this show is that the Republican Party is the big tent party. And I'm going to give you two examples of two very powerful Democrats. Two very powerful Democrats acknowledging just that over the weekend. The first of which was Cenk Uygur on the Young Turks in the same Charlie Kirk interview. The second is a big deal. She's a fundraiser for the Democratic Party. She has access to millions and millions and millions of dollars. who has been cast aside for speaking the honest truth. But first, here's Cenk.
On the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing, okay? So you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
We're glad Cenk's here, right, everybody?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist, right? But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right? So, look, I propose simple rules, the 3 rules of the internet. Rule number 1, when we disagree, we fight. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Now, rule number 2 is afterwards we must have a beer together, okay? And rule number 3 is, for God's sake, when we agree, let's unite. So, for the left, we have too much division. We almost never unify. I don't mean with the right, I mean internally. The left loves to attack one another. I love you guys on the left. I love you. But every once in a while, when we get a yes, when we agree, can we please unite? And the second thing we need is for the old, I'm being honest, and on average, not everyone, of course, but for the older Democratic voters, please turn off your television sets. They're lying to you. They're tricking you. They're trying to get you to vote for corruption. They're trying to get you to vote for policies you don't even want. So if we can do those 2 things, then we'll be in great shape.
Then we'll be in great shape. And look, like I said, I'm not going to agree with him on everything. But when we get a win between the populists on the right and the left, let's take it. And he is right. If you agree with the America First agenda 5% of the time, we say, come on in. Let's go. And that's why you get so many disaffected liberals. That's why you get the Tim Pools and the Joe Rogans and the Tulsi Gabbards and the RFKs and the Elon Musks. I don't agree with all of them on every issue. And you know what? We've spent a large amount of time on this show doing just that, disagreeing with many of those people on issues that they feel strongly about. Bobby Kennedy is really against guns. But I like what he says when it comes to health in this country. So let's let him do that. There are places that we can all come together. And if we do, it's just more ammunition in our holster against the establishment, against the uniparty, against the blob, whatever it is you want to call that. Because at the end of the day, that's what's holding us back. That's what's holding us back. And so I was happy to see Cenk there, former left-wingers, like Nicole Shanahan was there. A lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And moreover, before we move on, because there is a lot more that I do want to get to, and I want to show you that clip of the Democratic super donor, a bundler, I should say. Somebody whose job it is to fundraise millions and millions of dollars, leaving the Democratic Party. What I saw at AmFest this weekend were activists, politicians, influencers, elected officials, and celebrities all coming together to remind people that the work is not done. Donald Trump winning is not the end of the story. Donald Trump winning is just the end of a chapter in that story. So whatever it is you do out there, whether you donate your time, whether you donate your money, whether you make memes or you register voters, or whatever it is you do, keep going. Don't ever stop pushing. Because the biggest danger to the populist America First movement is not the Democrats, and it's not the Uniparty. It's not the deep state or the intelligence agencies. It's not big tech or the lobbyists. Our biggest enemy is complacency. Our biggest enemy is us putting our feet up and saying the job is done. That's our biggest enemy. And that's what we've got to make sure we fight against. There were a lot of parents out there who were all gung-ho during the COVID mandates. They were at their school board meetings, and they walked neighborhoods and knocked on doors for school board candidates. And then all that went away, and so did the enthusiasm behind a lot of people. We cannot let up. We must keep our foot on the gas, and we must remind those people who stand in our way that we will not stand for it. You can either get on board or you can get run over. You can get run over by the grassroots. Later in the week, we're going to be joined by somebody who is trying to do just that. I'm super excited to introduce you guys to her. I got to meet her this weekend at Turning Point. Young lady doing amazing things in the middle of the country, and it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be absolutely fantastic. Before we keep moving and grooving here, Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD, for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Let's pop that live chat up. How is everybody doing today? Yeah, Caps, you're right. A lot of people are taking a breather, and I got no problem with that. Y'all want to relax until the new year? That's fine. Everybody relax until the new year. New York Patriot. Yes, shoot me a message somewhere. I assume if you're a New York Patriot, I'm not sure who that is, but New York Patriot 1776. If you have that, I would love that. Let's talk. Shoot me a message somewhere and let me know what's what. You guys know I'm sure you can find me somewhere. So shoot me a message over there. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. So as I said, there's somebody else standing up against this. And, you know, like Jank said in that clip, when you agree with the America First movement 5%, you get welcomed in. When you disagree with the left 5%, you get cast aside. Here is one of their biggest fundraisers. On Piers Morgan, saying that as soon as she spoke out against Kamala Harris, and where all the money she raised went, what they did to her. Now, why does this matter? Because I would love for this woman to bring her fundraising dollars over to our side of the aisle.
The Democrats have got to move on quickly, haven't they?
Before we even do this, just look at this panel. You have, I forgot what her name is, from PragerU. You got Dave Smith, famed libertarian. Dave Rubin, former lefty. I just realized Dave Rubin and Jank are on the same panel. That must have been kind of awkward. And Piers Morgan, and a Democratic super donor, all on the same panel, agreeing that things need to change.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. She's indulging delusions of running for governor in California in 2026 and perhaps even running for president in 2028. And I just want to echo what a lot of you guys already said. This past week has been harrowing for me. This Saturday, I went on Fox and Friends and I said that Democrats have a stench of loser hanging over them.
Yeah.
As soon as I said that, there were boycott campaigns against me, unblock, unfollow campaigns. I lost 40,000 followers.
Really?
In 4 days. People have called me the W word. I don't know what we're allowed to say, but you can fill in the blank.
We're uncensored. No, say it. Say it. Say what the word was.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah.
Well, they called me a whore. They called me the C word. They asked for me to be deported. And you can just search for my name in those terms on X and you'll see a bunch of them. So, all these so-called Democrats, the party of inclusion, the party of diversity, masks off. And it's even worse because they pretend to occupy the moral high ground. They pretend to be, so loving and caring and embracing of diversity. But all of a sudden, when I dare to utter any criticisms of the goddess, Kamala Harris, I get ostracized. Me, after having raised tens of millions of dollars for the party. My donors are pissed. They raised $2.5 billion across Super PAC in the campaign. It's my responsibility. It's my duty of care to ask what the hell happened with that money? Why did we spend it? Why did we spend millions of dollars on five-star hotels for campaign staffers? Why did we spend $500,000 essentially bribing Al Sharpton moments before he interviewed Kamala? These are legitimate questions, but no, in the cult, you can't ask questions.
Yeah.
And leaving the Democratic Party or even questioning the Democratic Party is like leaving a cult. It's terrifying. Pierce, I don't want that. I don't want to be a part of this tent. I don't want to be a part of this craziness anymore. They're accelerating my rightward shift. I don't want this nonsense. It's just crazy. And honestly, they're shrinking their tent. They're basically telling me to they're pushing me to bring my tens of millions of dollars that I've raised and can continue to raise to a different team that treats me better, that treats me with just common decency, that doesn't call me a communist spy. By the way, the communist regime in China killed my great-grandfather. They don't know my family's history. This is the first time I'm really saying it on air. They are calling me a spy for the regime that killed my great-grandfather. Let that soak in just for a second. That's how disgraceful they are. Yeah. And these are the people who call themselves the social justice warriors. They are dabbling. They are going headfirst into racism anytime someone dares to disagree with them. I don't want to be a part of this nonsense anymore. I want to be a part of the team that says men are men and women are women, and then men shouldn't play in women's sports. And I'm an athlete myself. I'm a marathon runner.
It's out of control. But you know what? She's right. The Democrats have become a cult, and we've been talking about it on this show and many other shows for a long time. And I would urge that woman, I think her name is Lisa Lee. I may have her name incorrect. Please, bring your money over here. Republicans will far better spend it to do things like protecting women's sports, to protect women in sports. Something that was non-controversial up until about 5 minutes ago. Come on over. We are the big tent. We are the big tent. But suddenly, Democrats have gotten very, very upset with the fact that the right wing has found our own billionaires. Now, I would love, and I genuinely mean this, I would love to see billionaire money out of politics. I would. I would love to see Bill Gates and George Soros and Elon Musk not have such power over our political system. However, with that being said, I will live and play by the same rules as everyone else. Now, what do I mean by that? The left is very upset. All of a sudden, the establishment left, I should say, which is what I think I'm going to call it from now on. Because as we just discussed, there is a difference between the populist left and the populist right. Suddenly, they're very, very upset at the billionaire donors on the America First side, but their own billionaires, no big deal.
Is this going to wear thin with Donald Trump soon?
I don't think so. I mean, look, they appear to be getting along well. Musk was very instrumental in his victory. And I hear Democrats, criticizing the idea that we have unelected people with too much influence over the government. I invite them to pick up the Wall Street Journal from this week and find out that unelected people have been running the government for the last 4 years. I hear Democrats criticizing the influence of billionaires on our politics when you've got this Soros punk running around collecting Democrat politicians like my kids collect Pokemon cards. So I think all the criticism of Musk coming from the left is totally hypocritical, totally over the top, and he is doing something interesting, bringing some transparency to the federal government. It's not a terrible thing.
But it's a... And just watching Scott Jennings eat this guy alive is absolutely spectacular. Now, or eat CNN alive. It's been absolutely spectacular. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. If Scott Jennings ever wants to retire from CNN, I will gladly take that job, to just go on TV and beat people's asses all the livelong day. But, as I said, some Democrats very upset that Elon Musk has any sort of sway over our government. Here is, I don't know, maybe the strangest looking member of Congress there is. She's a representative from Connecticut railing against something President Musk. I don't know what this is.
Read on a bill. And you know what? They got scared because President Musk told them, President Musk said, don't do it. Don't do it. Shut the government down. Imagine. What does he know about what people go through is when the government shuts down? Are his employees furloughed? Hell no. Is he furloughed? No. And when you shut the government down, people don't get paid. And maybe if none of us got paid if the government shut down, some people on the other side of the aisle would feel differently about where we're going in this effort. We had an agreement. But this is not different from what we've experienced over the last year and a half or so. Think about it. Biden, McCarthy, deal, come together. Next day, walk away. Johnson, Schumer, deal. Next day, walk away. And now this deal, walk away from it. Who do we trust in this body? And above all, can the American people trust us? Trust us with their lives. When we had a moment, when we came to agreement as Democrats and Republicans, and then we were able to say, let's move forward this country. One of my colleagues, I think it was Congressman Neal, who said this.
Connecticut, you're not sending your best. I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, I guess it's kind of cute to have purple hair when you're 20, but when you're 90, it's not so adorable anymore. Ranting and raving about a President Musk. It's a very strange-looking person. It's a very strange-looking person. But Democrats will not learn. Democrats will not learn. And we're going to get to more of that in 1 second. Before we do that, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFA TV related. Check out the LFA TV store. While you guys are there, consider becoming a monthly donor over to lfatv.us. That's the best way to support this network and everything we've got going on. We can't do it without your help. Guys, this is user-generated content, and quite frankly, we don't have the big donors like some other people do, so we always do appreciate the support. Guys, so head on over to lfatv.us. It's lfatv.us. So, Democrats and establishment Republicans continue their assault on people like Matt Gaetz. Now, I've said it once, and I'll say it again. I want to be fully transparent with you guys. I consider Matt a friend. It's very difficult, if not impossible, for me to be objective about a friend. Matt and his lovely wife Ginger have been phenomenal to me over the last 4 years since I've been in politics, since I've officially been in politics. It's very hard for me to be objective, but I feel I need to report on this. A House ethics investigation has been released about Matt Gaetz. And in the report, it claimed, quote, insufficient evidence for the claims that he was involved with sex trafficking, which is something I knew all along. Matt is one of the best guys I know, and I want to be clear. You're going to hear a lot of stuff about how many people hate Matt Gaetz. Well, I want to explain something to you. The only people who hate Matt Gaetz they're all the wrong people. All the people who are against the exact same values that we are. All the people who would keep this corrupt machine running. It is absolute bullshit that they released that report. And I want to make something very clear because I know you're watching. There is one Republican on the House Ethics Committee whom I know personally. So help me God if I find out you were that deciding vote. He's not in Congress anymore. He's left. There were no charges ever brought. In this country, you are not guilty until proven innocent. You are innocent until proven guilty. But apparently, the establishment fuckheads on the ethics committee, the same ethics committee that currently houses a congressman who has used his position to cover up not one, not two, but possibly 3 DWIs. Don't worry, if you don't think I have the police body cam footage of that, you're smoking crack. Just saving that for a rainy day. And I know you're watching because you can't not watch. Some of you may know who I'm talking about. Let me find out it was you. Ho ho! Let me find out it was you. You'll lose even more hair. Don't worry. So I stand with Matt. And if anybody's got a problem with that, you can turn the show off. Turn the show off. Feel free. Matt's a fighter, and he's going to keep continuing to fight for common sense, for America First values. And as I said, if anybody's got a problem with that, turn the damn show off. Turn the damn show off. Throw out your loud majority gear. I don't really give a shit because it turns out you're not a wartime conservative, and we need wartime conservatives right now. Because currently, we are dealing with people who are willing to justify almost anything in order to hold on to power. Justify almost anything to get what they want. Because for the left, it's not about morals. It's not about principles. It's not about the Constitution. It's purely a power grab. Which is why you're seeing many people on the left continue to justify this Luigi Mangione shooting. Continue to justify it. Here with Scott Jennings doing more Scott Jennings.
But when it's a white guy, we search for a reason and valorize him and make him a hero. When he's just a violent criminal who did a violent thing, he's a thug.
We are not searching for a reason to make him a folk hero.
Thank you.
The left is searching for a reason to make him a folk hero.
Joe Rogan thinks he's a folk hero.
When I see Democratic politicians do the perfunctory, well, violence is never the answer, but you can see why people are mad. Yes, I believe people on the left, and you see it online, they are searching for a reason and want to turn this person in, and they want to into a folk, and they want to justify violence to change a system they don't like. And
your ability to shovel right-wing junk into a funnel and make it into something that is crazy, but I just want to show it's not right-wing.
We are showing the signs. I mean, this was today, okay?
Maybe that's a MAGA person.
Does this look like a MAGA?
Could be.
Does this look like a MAGA rally?
I haven't seen a MAGA person wearing a mask in 3 years.
Who knows? That could be MAGA people in that video. Really, have you seen a MAGA person wearing a mask in the last 3 years? I know I certainly haven't. As a matter of fact, you got to hear this. Here is Luigi Mangione's lawyer who's actually turning him into the victim of this whole thing.
Second thing I want to make a record of, Your Honor, is I'm very concerned about my client's right to a fair trial in this case. He's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Like every other defendant, he is entitled to a presumption of innocence. But unfortunately, the way this has been handled so far, his rights are being violated. And as you know, Your Honor, there's a wealth of case law guaranteeing his right to a fair trial. But none of the safeguards have been put in place yet here. In fact, it's just the opposite of what's been happening. He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here. These federal and state prosecutors are coordinating with one another, but at the expense of him. They have conflicting theories in their indictments, and they are literally treating him like he is like some sort of political fodder, like some sort of spectacle. He was on display for everyone to see in the biggest staged perp walk I've ever seen in my career. It was absolutely unnecessary. He's been cooperative with law enforcement. He had been in custody for over a week. He waived extradition. He was cooperative at all accounts. There was no reason for the NYPD and everybody to have these big assault rifles that, frankly, I had no idea was in their arsenal. And to have all of the press there, the media there, it was like perfectly choreographed. And what was the New York City mayor doing at this press conference, Your Honor? That just made it utterly political. And as Your Honor knows, under Lauro v. Charles, the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has held it to be clearly established that these staged perp walks to the media, unrelated to a legitimate law enforcement objective, is unconstitutional. And I submit there was zero law enforcement objective to do that sort of perp walk. There's absolutely no need for that whatsoever. And frankly, Your Honor, the mayor should know more than anyone of the presumption of innocence that he too is afforded when dealing with his own issues. And frankly, I submit that he was just trying to detract from those issues by making a spectacle of Mr. Mangione. And there are consequences to this. He has a right to a fair trial. And I just want to put on the record statements that the mayor made publicly about my client. Nothing saying alleged, for example. And he said, I wanted to send a strong message with the police commissioner that we're leading from the front. I'm not going to just allow him to come into our city. I wanted to look him in the eye and state, you carried out this terrorist act in my city, in the city of New York that I love. And he wanted to show symbolism. Your Honor, he's not a symbol. He's somebody who is afforded the right to a fair trial. He's innocent until proven guilty. And the mayor was talking to jurors, future potential jurors that elected him. Those are the people that elected him, that he is talking to and calling this man a terrorist. So, Your Honor, I just want to make a record of this and put everyone on notice that this has to stop. And my client is entitled to a fair trial and the presumption of innocence. And we're going to fight these charges, whether it's in the state or federal, to the fullest extent. Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't know what this woman's getting paid, but it ain't enough. I don't know what she's getting paid, but it is not enough. I mean, I'm curious how that lawyer fits balls that big into like normal-sized pants. He's the victim. He allegedly, for the lawyers, he allegedly shot a man in the back in cold blood because he didn't like the company he worked for. I'll tell you what Luigi Mangione is, okay? You guys want to know what he is? He's a whiny little trust fund bitch who has never heard the word no in his entire life, who got radicalized online by nefarious actors into committing murder in the middle of the street because something didn't exist the way he wanted it to. He's a psychopath, in my opinion. After he allegedly, got to make sure I say that, allegedly shot a guy in the back. Now look, I don't like insurance companies. I've made that very clear. I have friends in the insurance industry, and I tell them all the time, I think they all belong in prison for what they do. Denial of care, repeatedly. And something should be done about that. But shooting somebody in the back is not the answer. Nor should it ever be the answer. And I want to make something else very clear. I want to make something else very, very clear. I'm going to use a word here that, it's not a nice word. It's not a nice word, so, this is going to be, maybe not my best moment. But there is no more. How do I want to say this? There is no more of a pussy move than to shoot somebody in the back. That doesn't make you a hero. It makes you a coward. It makes you a coward. He was all big and bad, but he couldn't look the guy in the eye. He couldn't look him in the eye when he did it. Yeah, it said it. This guy's no hero. He's a coward. Shoots a guy in the back while it's dark outside. You think you're tough, bro? If he had walked up and punched the guy in the face, staring at him right in the eyes, then maybe I'd give him a little bit of credit. It doesn't take any balls to shoot somebody in the back. Just saying. This guy's no hero. He's a punk. Guys, before we keep rocking and rolling here, because I got to talk about this. I got to talk about the fact that an illegal immigrant burned somebody to death on the F train. Let's add that to the list of sentences I never thought I'd say this year. Before we get to that, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for our newsletter. Check out the shop. That's the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on over here. We got so much activism, so many things planned for the next couple of months, and we can't do without your support. There's so much new stuff on the website. And while you're there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at loudmajorityusa.com. We can't do it without your help. We can't do it without your help. We know times are tough right now, and we really do appreciate the support. So, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Well, I put this off for long enough. This happened.
Gruesome and deadly attack on the subway. Police have a person of interest in custody after someone set a woman on fire on an F train, killing her.
Police say the killer walked up to the victim and lit her clothes on fire. By the time officers got to the woman, she was fully engulfed in flame.
This is one of several violent attacks in the subway system this weekend. One person was killed. Another was injured in a stabbing incident on a 7 train during an apparent robbery gone bad in Woodside, Queens. And yesterday, 2 people shot on a subway platform in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn.
The subway violence comes during a time authorities are trying to assure New Yorkers about the safety of mass transit ahead of congestion pricing next month and a probable fare hike this summer. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon.
The NYPD tonight is calling cameras now in every subway car a game changer. MTA video taken in an F train at Stillwell Avenue captured the terrifying crime this morning.
It offered detectives immediately answers to questions that they had. What happened?
Officers had seen and smelled smoke and came running over.
What they saw was a person standing inside the train car, fully engulfed in flames.
They got the flames out with a fire extinguisher, but the woman died at the scene. The video also offered clear pictures of the man who had used a lighter to set fire to her clothes while she may have been sleeping and stayed and watched.
We asked the media to broadcast those images far and wide so we could use the viewing public as a force multiplier. and New Yorkers came through again.
A group of high school students spotted the man in the photo on another train and called 911.
Our transit sergeant responded to that location, met with these young high school students, looked inside the train and saw an individual that he recognized from wanted flyers that we got out earlier.
The suspect was taken into custody. Police say he's a citizen of Guatemala in New York since 2018. Tonight, the governor praised the quick arrest, but her tweets today about additional cameras, officers, and National Guard members helping bring subway crime down have been met with concerns about fare hikes and the congestion pricing toll meant to make the subway more appealing on an especially violent weekend. Overnight, a man was stabbed to death in what police think was a robbery attempt on a 7 train in Woodside. And yesterday, panicked subway riders ran from gunfire at a Q train station in Sheepshead Bay, where 2 people survived being shot, and the search continues for the shooter. The subway cameras in Coney Island this morning and the presence of officers in transit played critical roles in that quick apprehension, but still couldn't stop a man from killing a woman on the subway for no apparent reason. That woman still hasn't been identified tonight. She was burned beyond recognition. Outside police headquarters in Lower Manhattan, Sonia Rincon, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
That from ABC News. Now, a little update. We found out that in 2018, this guy was deported under the Donald Trump administration and then came back in under the Joe Biden administration. Now, I don't want to show you all this. This is incredibly graphic. However, you're all adults. And when your friends, when your leftist friends tell you that this sort of stuff isn't happening, this is the part of the show I want you to show them. Here is a video of not only this homeless woman being on fire, but a video of the man who did it literally fanning the flames of the person he just set on fire. Guys, heads up. Warning. Graphic content coming. I'll give you 5 seconds to do whatever. Here it is. You see the guy there in the gray shirt? That's the guy who did it. Giving more oxygen to it. But hey, just know something, right? Just know something. That if we do find this guy guilty of murder, it's possible that Joe Biden could commute his sentence like he just did to 37 people on death row in the federal system. Just saying. One of the most horrifying things I've ever seen in my entire life. He's literally fanning the flames. I didn't want to show you all that, but I thought you all could handle it. Yep, not a single person helped, including police officers walking by. People just standing there with their phones out. That's the world we live in now. But who needs something to smile about? Who needs something, a little pick-me-up, a little smile afterwards? Guys, before we keep going, if you're watching on Facebook, hit the like button. If you're watching on X, make sure you repost this video. If you're watching on Rumble, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Share out the URL. Make sure you're subscribed. Rumble.com/LFATV. If you're watching on Facebook, guys, do me a favor. Hit that little @ button. Hit the followers button so that your friends can see it too. Who needs a little bit of a laugh? Because, yesterday at Turning Point, we got. I don't know when we'll see it again, since I don't know how often Trump rallies are going to be happening. But could this be the last dance for the big guy? One will see, guys. We're not on tomorrow, so I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. I will catch you guys back later in the week. But you know what? Let's close it out on a happy note.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough.